Hello guys and welcome. We're going to have a quick look at Engulfing Flames on the Dragonknight for this patch. For the Flames of Ambition patch, we've got a few changes that are affecting the Engulfing Flames skill, which include things such as an increase in our max stats, an increase in our spell damage, all as kind of a base stat. So it's much easier now than ever to get the 10% of Engulfing Flames. So for this patch, the spell damage that you need to reach the 10% is somewhere around 3,873, and the max magicka 25,243. Shout out to Elf Oblin for those numbers. They have done the research to figure this out. Now the question is, how do we get to that 10%? So as we can see here, I'm using a setup we've been talking about recently with Elemental Catalyst. I've got Incratis and I've got Yolnacrin. I'm using all sturdy, all tri-stat, and I've got Triune Jewelry with Magicka Recovery. Now, if you look at the base stats that we've got, we're not too far off the numbers we need. So we're at 24,853 max Magicka. You're going to be at around a similar number if you're wearing something like Worm Cult as well, so you don't really have to spec for this at all anymore. This is on an Imperial DK. For the spell damage is the only part which is a little bit tricky. But there's a few ways that we can buff these things up. So, when we are in combat, the things that we kind of need to get to the 10% of Engulfing Flames, we need Minor Courage. And that's going to come from Yolnacrin. And you are using Yolnacrin as the main tank. So you are going to get the Minor Courage yourself. That's going to boost your spell damage. Then we've got Major Courage, which comes from Spell Power Cure or Olorim. If you're using Spell Power Cure in your group, you're most likely to get it. If not, and you're using Olorim, it's going to be a little bit more tricky because you've actually got to stand inside the Olorim circle to get it. But generally, if your group is using Spell Power Cure, you're going to have Major Courage as well. That is also going to boost your spell damage. You've then got Minor Sorcery, which comes from a Templar damage dealer usually, or a healer, and that's from the Dawn's Wrath passives. You've then also got the Aggressive Horn. Aggressive Horn gives you 10% more max magicka. And finally, we've got the Major Sorcery, which you can get by using Spell Power Potions or by using Igneous Weapons. So as you've seen, we're fully set up as a normal tank. The way to find out if you're at the 10% is to hit the Atronach, the Iron Atronach. This is going to give you the buffs we mentioned, the Major Courage, Minor Sorcery, Aggressive Horn. The Major Sorcery is going to come from Igneous Weapons. So if we just use Major Sorcery and we have a look, we're at 7%. If we taunt the enemy, we're at 8%. If we pick up the other buffs by attacking the Atronach, that gives us everything else, and there we are, we're at 10%. And that 10%, we look at our stats now, at 27k magicka, we've got 3,600 spell damage almost, and we're at the 10%. If we look down at our kind of buff list, we've got the Major Sorcery, Minor Sorcery as mentioned. We do have a few other things in there as well, such as Minor Berserk and all that kind of stuff. But we've got Major Courage in there, and Major Force as well. So as you can see, we're at the 10%. It's not really that. We are built as a tank. Full tri-stat. We've got Triune Jewelry. We're a Dragonknight tank. And we're getting the 10% of Engulfing. We no longer have to sacrifice any of our tank-based survivability, our tank-based resource pools and recoveries and all that kind of stuff to get the 10% out of Engulfing Flames. We just need to rely on being inside a group and getting the necessary group buffs. So if you are on your own, let's say in 4-man content, you're still going to get 8%, which is still worth it. But then when we move into group content in 12-person trials and that sort of thing, we are going to get the 10% very easily just by doing things that we're normally going to do. Major Minor Courage, Minor Sorcery, Aggressive Horn, and Major Sorcery as well. So that is all you need to do, guys, to get that 10% maxed out on your Engulfing Flames for the Flames of Ambition patch. I think there has been a little adjustment in the calculation as well in terms of how the Engulfing Flames buff is worked out, because it did used to be a bit higher than what it is. We used to need quite a lot more stats and spell damage than we need now, so there seems to be some kind of adjustment in that equation to work out the 10% for engulfing. But when we combine that along with the massive increased stats that we've got now as kind of base numbers, then it's made it a lot easier now to get to that 10%. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.